to go over your life choices, or I don't know, whatever you can do in 3 minutes. That's up to you. And sometimes you don't take damage. Sometimes you end up boggled. Like, say if a enemy NPC throws a pie at you, well, that can create a status effect. And let's say that pie is your confusion. You are now confused. Just know, going on, that pies equal boggled or confusion. Some items are always going to boggle you instead of doing typical damage. So just something to bear in mind going forward, that's a thing. And finally, plot points. The things that we chase after, or at least the Toons do. But what are they? In theory, they make Toons more successful. Sort of. Kind of. When you get a plot point, they can be used to up an ability score, or you can pool them to get a shtick, or improve your shtick that you already have. How do you get them, though? Well, they're awarded at the animator's discretion. You don't just get to say, damn, I was super, super funny. Now I should be awarded my plot point, right? No, that's not how that works. You can get plot points by making the animator cry from laughter, furthering a plot in a very meaningful manner, consistent character portrayal, which is just good roleplay, right? Causing an enemy to fall down, progress toward characters' beliefs and goals. When you make a Toon, in your backstory, you will list your goals and beliefs, and when they crop up or you make success towards furthering those goals and beliefs or that particular plot line, you get plot points. Actively using yes and with Toon peers. This is just a really good comedy improv skill. You always want to tell people yes. And even if you don't think it's a good idea, then say, yes, and I think we should as well. That's just really good yes-anding, and that will carry you very far in a game like Toon. And always, creative problem solving. Yes. Who doesn't love a good puzzle? So unlike Pathfinder in D&D, where the bulk of your XP comes from, or your leveling up comes from doing this, hitting enemies, that might not happen in Toon. You're not going to have people to fight every single episode of Toon. So it's best to look for other avenues to get plot points from, because it's more likely that that's what's going to happen. So that is Toon, and we hope that you are intrigued and that you join us Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you then. Bye. Hiya, Jerry here, and today I'm talking about Toon the RPG. But what is Toon the RPG? Well, think of it as Whose Line Is It Anyway meets cartoons and combined into a tabletop role-playing game, and you get Toon. And you play Toon to have the funniest game possible. That is the only reason you play Toon. So, how to go about playing Toon. You have your attributes and your skill levels, your hit points falling down and boggled, and plot points. There are 4 attributes in Toon: muscle, zip, smarts, and chutzpah. And under these 4 attributes, you have your sub-skills, which are the things that you can do when you play Toon. And when you do something, you'll ask the DM, well, do I roll a d12 or do I roll 2 d6s? If they say for you to roll 2 d6s, they're trying to make it a little bit more difficult for you. But for instance, say you have a character and you want to have your character drive. Well, driving is a skill, and your skill score is 7. This means that to do what you want to do, you want to roll 7 and under. If you roll 8 or more, you fail. In Toon, 2s are auto successes because they're critical successes, and 12s are critical failures. Now, hit points. When you make a character in Toon, you have 1d6 plus 6, which means that you have about 7 to 12 hit points. That's not a lot, is it? I wonder what happens when you hit 0 hit points, which you will, and you will a lot. Well, you don't die, obviously. That wouldn't make sense because you're a Toon. Instead, you fall down. And what is falling down? Well, when you do fall down, you take 3 minutes out of the game, which means essentially that your Toon is blacked out, seeing stars or whatever, and you have 3 minutes to go over your life choices or, I don't know, whatever you can do in 3 minutes. That's up to you. And sometimes you don't take damage. Sometimes you end up boggled. Like, say, if a enemy NPC throws a pie at you, well, that can create a status effect. And let's say that pie is your confusion. You are now confused. Just know, going on, that pies equal boggled or confusion. Some items are always going to boggle you instead of doing typical damage. So just something to bear in mind going forward, that's a thing. And finally, plot points. The things that we chase after, or at least the Toons do. But what are they? In theory, they make Toons more successful. Sort of. Kind of. When you get a plot point, they can be used to up an ability score, or you can pool them to get a shtick, or improve your shtick that you already have. How do you get them, though? Well, they're awarded at the animator's discretion. You don't just get to say, damn, I was super, super funny. Now I should be awarded my plot point, right? No, that's not how that works. You can get plot points by making the animator cry from laughter, furthering a plot in a very meaningful manner, consistent character portrayal, which is just good role play, right? Causing an enemy to fall down, progress towards your character's beliefs and goals. When you make a Toon, in your backstory, you will list your goals and beliefs, and when they crop up or you make success towards furthering those goals and beliefs or that particular plot line, you get plot points. Actively using yes and with Toon peers. This is just a really good comedy improv skill. You always want to tell people yes. And even if you don't think it's a good idea, then say, yes, and I think we should as well. That's just really good yes-anding, and that will carry you very far in a game like Toon. And always, creative problem solving. Yes. Who doesn't love a good puzzle? So unlike Pathfinder in D&D, where the bulk of your XP comes from, or your leveling up comes from doing this, hitting enemies, that might not happen in Toon. You're not going to have people to fight every single episode of Toon. So it's best to look for other avenues to get plot points from, because it's more likely that that's what's going to happen. So that is Toon, and we hope that you are intrigued and that you join us Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you then. Bye. Hiya, Jerry here, and today I'm talking... You thought...
Hey, intro.
Hiya, and welcome to Dice Club. First rule of Dice Club: tell everyone about Dice Club. A few things before we get started with the antics of Toon. Wanted to give a shout out to Helix Risen, our first sub. Kind of a big deal. Helix, if you did not want to be known, I'm sorry. But yeah, to all of our subs, I will probably be giving them shout outs until it is not like reasonable. It becomes like impossible to do. If should that ever happen, wow, that would be a nice problem to have.
I know.
Make it happen. Also, some new things. Crimson Sands of Mars, Mar has begun. It is our West Marches campaign, and that is a stream game, but there's also games being done off stream. Both games set in the same world, they have a knock-on effect to each other. So what happens in one campaign may have repercussions for the people that are on stream, and you can kind of see how what you've done in that world and your decisions that you've made have actually affected a party on stream, and you can literally watch them have to deal with said actions. So that's kind of the neat thing about Crimson Sands of Mar. And to get involved in that kind of thing, go to our Discord. It is below on our Twitch. And you can join us in our epic nerddom. And so do that if that sounds like something you would be like. Also in the works is it's a little space game. Starts with an S. The first word starts with an S. Second word starts with a W. And that's something that we're working on in that game as well. The DM for that game also wants to have some games that are run off stream. So, you know, if you don't really want to be on camera and all that, but you still want to play, we can accommodate that. So, yeah, our Discord and all that stuff to get involved. We're a fun little artistic lot, and we would be happy to have you if you would like to play games on stream and are up for all of that. We're also looking for DMs and players to fulfill roles in that capacity. So, I think that is the news. Can't see one more little chat. Oh, and as always, if should you feel the need to have more Dice Club in your life, there's our YouTube, where a lot of our videos go over there because they can expire on Twitch, because that's the thing that can happen. So if you want to catch up and something isn't on the Twitch, it's on the YouTube. So just put in Dice Club and YouTube, we pop up in a search. And you can also find Dice Club stuff on Redbubble should you feel the need to, show the world how much you love Dice Club, which, you don't have to do. Just tell everyone about Dice Club. That's literally the only rule of Dice Club. So with that, we will run the intro. And here we are, we are now convened. I'm joined by some fellow performers, actors, rappers, voice actors. We're Dice Club really has a scope of individuals of various artistic disciplines, if you will. We're not just any one thing. Variety is the spice of life. And so, firstly, with me is Raven. Raven, you weren't with us last week because of planes.
Yes. My ears are not very good with planes, and therefore, usually when I go and fly, when I'm home quite late, I can't really do anything else because I can't hear anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But anyways, you were missed. This time, Austin is not with us, our little penguin, but we have the toaster back. So...
Yes. Raven, also known as Steady the Toaster.
Yes.
I am a small mechanical being, and I do love bread. Besides that, I am also a voice actor and a beatboxer. Besides that, I do some designing, and that's it.
And
I hope you enjoy.
And that's it. All right.
Yes.
And Brandon. Brandon was with us last week. You have rejoined us.
Indeed, I have.
Yay. And you play a fox.
I play Red, the fox.
Who wears a hat, a shirt, and has a straw or some sort of sticks.
Form of vegetation.
Yes, form of
vegetation.
And what is your artistic passion, if you will, Brandon?
Too many things. I'm a voice actor. I'm a musician. I'm also an artist. I just launched a Patreon. I haven't put the link out just yet, as I'm trying to get caught up on a few things before I launch it officially or let it out officially. But I'm working on a comic book, so.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, a comic book. So yeah, that speaks to me. Because I'm have a lot of disciplines too. All right, and Alex, our grumpy. Well, I don't know. What would you define Mr. Hyde's personality as?
The vocabulary is running through my head, but it's not coming out.
What am I saying? He's too old for this. He's safety conscientious, but he loves ponies.
He's got a soft side. He's like everyone else. He's got a very human fire hydrant side.
Very human fire hydrants. Only in Toon would somebody make a character like this, but he's great. I love him. What have you got going on? Anything, or you just?
I just recently got commissioned for making the emotes and badges for someone else's Twitch.
Ooh.
And so I got done with that, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Okay, all right, okay, right on. So you're secretly very you've got artistic motor skills then, if you draw and stuff like that.
I can draw. I don't do it it'd be an exaggeration to even say it's a hobby. So I didn't get paid anything, or rather I refused to pay because it was just for a friend, pretty much.
But it is the love of creating art, and that's very much
eventually Dice Club will need something, and I will make it something.
Yes, you will. I'm gonna remember you offered that. Bruce, tell us all the things.
Yo, what's up? So online I go by Panda Massacre WTF. I've been streaming on Twitch lately, almost every weekday at twitch.tv/Panda Massacre WTF, where I am currently playing through Yakuza 0, one of the I must say best games to come out in the last century, and also whatchamacallit, I mainly do some amateur voice acting and rapping, and in this game I'm playing Seamus the swordfish, and he's not the sharpest swordfish in the school, but he always gets the job done.
He does. And and I'm a ninja. That was so funny when you were playing that video game and you were like, I'm a ninja.
Oh yeah, I need to get back on that.
Yeah.
I got a new controller and everything.
Oh, what happened to the old one? Was there frustration? Is that why you had to get a new one?
Yeah. So basically, Like the first couple of days where I was trying to play through Yakuza 0, I just couldn't because my controller kept disconnecting, then it reconnected. The game would register the controller as a controller for a completely new player.
Right.
Which means I couldn't use it because it would only allow me to use the player 1 controller. So every time I'd
always blame the controller. Number 1.
So it actually was the controller. I checked all the USB ports on my computer.
Technical issues. I can relate because last week we had trouble with our layout and all that stuff, but now our pretty layout has returned.
Yeah, so this is the broken Xbox 360 controller I've been using for a while. It's pretty standard. It works. Well, now it doesn't work very well, but
I was about to say you replaced it because it didn't work. Why did you just say that?
I replaced it with the Steam controller that I got on sale like half a year ago that I never bothered using because the Xbox controller was working fine for a while.
Steam, if you ever feel like maybe sponsoring a, comedy tabletop, game that goes completely off the rails, would you please keep us in mind? I realize that's very specific. But it could be wonderful. It could be.
Starts with a T, ends with the oon.
So just to give a refresher, because Teddy was not present. Raven, you were dealing with ear issues.
The opposite of present.
Yeah, you're the opposite of present. Thank you. The group, y'all were on the road trip. You got to Smurfton? Yeah. And they're painting the Pappy's wall. At least that's what Arnold wants to call the old Smorkle who owns the gas station. He, let y'all have gas and stay there and even fed y'all as long as y'all painted his wall. And so far, these are my literal notes from what y'all have painted on the wall so far. Again, keep in mind we are not responsible for any and everything that happens on this show. You drew Olga the Orca, which is a pop diva sensation idol, on stage with an Arctic background depicting terrors and murder and like glacial melting, and that was Arnold's part. He wanted to make awareness for what is happening up where he's from.
Boring.
Then watching Olga performing is an audience of unicorns, one of which is wearing glasses. The old guy was very, very specific about wanting one of the unicorns to be wearing glasses. We don't know why. It's just something he had to have happen. And that is where y'all are on the mural. Y'all still have about 1/3 left, and y'all are just like doing geometric patterns and the like to finish off. But that bit kind of still needs some finishing. But y'all decided that y'all would go see what has happened with Marty. Y'all knew that he went to, or they said that he went to investigate Horgamel, the giant who wants to trap the Smorkles, but really hasn't been too successful. You get there and y'all have found, well, actually no, y'all got greeted by the dog, which scared Mr. Hyde to death because being a fire hydrant, his relationship with canines is tenuous at best. Y'all ended up in the your tiny the high tider ended up in the mouth of the dog, and the dog, thinking that it was more kind of like a toy or a ball, he threw y'all, but luckily y'all landed on the side. The vehicle was on its side on the doormat, so it wasn't a horrible impact, but y'all are on the side, and basically things happened, and the dog got knocked out from a coconut that Seamus pulled out of his bag. So we're not responsible for any of the things that happen on Toon.
Especially coconut related.
Yeah. Y'all got into the house. Y'all, Bruce, Seamus turned into a Seamus bat. Was it, or a mosquito or something like that?
It was a bat.
It was a bat. Okay, a Seamus bat, and he went up and he found like a lot of research or supposition research that Horgamel has tried to do to figure out why the Smorkles are the way that they are. It looked kind of creepy. Y'all investigated further and found Horgamel tied, unable to free himself. He hasn't eaten in the 3 or 4 days, so he's getting kind of hungry, and y'all were having a conversation, and Red had just opened a can of Candwich.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, when he opens this Candwich, Arnold, whose blood sugar has gotten really low, sort of faints. And that's how I am dealing with that. Low blood sugar.
The smell of glucose.
Yeah. So it's flimsy, it's thin, but that's what's happened to make sense of it. So, you had something in mind, Red?
Well, I mean, if he was
Out of the
awake,
can comes Teddy the toaster with the Candwich.
Y'all just been carrying this sleeping toaster around with y'all. You're like, he'll wake up eventually, you know, just...
I approve of this message.
Okay.
Yes.
my plan was, if he was awake still, I was gonna, try to negotiate him to stop messing with the poor Smorkles in
Okay.
exchange for this sandwich.
Okay. Alright. Okay.
But since he passed out,
Not him. Arnold.
Oh.
Not
Oh,
Horgamel. Arnold, the penguin. When
Oh,
you opened this
yeah.
can, he was just like, his blood
Penguin's
sugar
out
got low.
cold.
Yeah. Because that's how I'm
Right.
explaining Arnold not being here. That's how I'm
I'm
taking
strapping
care of
him
it.
to my back like a backpack.
Okay.
can I?
Until he wakes up, that's where he'll be.
Okay. That's
maybe
very
he needs
kind.
a little bit of the liquid that's in the can. Just like cap it and pour a little bit in. Like, buddy, are you okay?
He's just
He'll be fine.
like,
Seamus turns back into a...
he's
Back
kind
to
of half awake, and he's singing, glow wipes, taking care of them pant stripes, glow wipes. Previous sponsor. Don't worry about it. Go on. So you've opened this Candwich, and Horgamel is just like, what is that?
This is a Canewich. It's pretty tasty too.
Henry, is it like gruel?
Even better.
It's
Better than gruel?
It's better, trust me.
At this rate, I'm willing to eat dust bunnies.
Oh, we have those too. I can pull some out of my bag if you want.
Well, I mean, I've been on the floor for so long and just hog-tied like this. I'll probably just start eating them in general. And he's like, oh, my head won't fit under that bureau. I should have picked furniture that had more, space between it and the ground. But then that's not what people think of
Those
when
are
they're
the struggles
buying.
of life.
Yeah, I know. That's not what people think of when they're buying furniture, though, is it?
Yeah. Imagine if I was hogtied and on the ground. What furniture would I like?
She's like,
Booby traps.
right. So he's like, you wouldn't happen to have more of those, would you? He's trying to, kind of smell.
I'm gonna waft it a little bit in front of me, be like, oh, I only got the one, and it's such a shame because I'm so hungry.
But how could you be all that hungry? You're teeny tiny. Your appetite is insurmountable in comparison to mine.
I'd be willing to give you my cane witch if you're willing to negotiate with me and my fellows here.
And no longer insult the tiny, for we are grand inside.
You're like 3 inches tall at best. You're even smaller because you're a toaster. You are a toaster, right? And he's like trying to, he looks closer. He's like, you're some sort of small appliance.
Yes, I am a toaster indeed. Very, very good eyesight.
It's like, I spent a lot of time looking at small things because of those smokers. One has to develop a keen eye.
Yes, and apparently a lot of hunger as well. Imagine having a sandwich right now. Does any of us have a sandwich by any chance?
Yes. Yes.
Just like sniffing it and.
What?
It's okay, sir. If you want a real big sandwich, I can probably pull one out of my bag.
Oh my god.
This is where every story starts and ends.
Yeah, it really does.
It is such a good plot device. I will give it that. It is a great plot device.
Nope.
Okay. Let's see. A 1.
Does it get the giant modifier again?
And a 15. You pull out a snowflake, which starts immediately melting. You're just like, you like had to catch it. It happened so fast. You're like, it's a snow. It's nothing now. Yeah, you were just like
single snowflake.
Yeah, it was a single snowflake. That's very cartoony, really. A single.
I wish Arnold was awake to see this. He would have loved it.
Well, he has a snow, like an ice shaver in the van because he sells snow cones.
Shaver's just kind of drizzles it over Arnold to try to wake him up.
Well, that's just like one flick. It's like like you get out of the tub.
Half a drip.
Like half of a drip. He's like, glow eyes. And speaking of sponsor, our first sponsor comes from Zip It, the child-size straitjacket.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, since you do love that so very, very much, I'm going to say that Teddy the Toaster, who really doesn't ever, they don't make. I'm sorry, but Zip It doesn't make toaster size straitjackets, so you'll never know the joy. But you'll be doing this, and I'll say do this one with Mr. Hyde. You and Mr. Hyde pitch a quick little commercial for Zip It, the child-sized straitjacket, and away you go.
You or me first?
Whoever would like to start it.
Not a timer.
All right. So, have you ever been sitting there and your kid's he's whining in the back and he's all over, he's flailing his arms like he's Shiva with the 8 arms, and he's just everywhere. What do?
Well, what you do when your child has arms is you buy one of these wonderful straitjackets for kids only. That way you can tie them up, zip it, and done. It's not applicable for toasters.
Zip it up. He'll still be able to breathe. That's a very important part.
Depends on how you zip it, but yes.
Yeah.
I just realized the two objects who aren't
The only two people without arms.
The biological beings are not pitching.
And you may think, oh, I don't know if this is for me, but even if you're a toaster or a fire hydrant, you can still feel the joy of being anthropomorphic by buying these baby straitjacket.
Take it from me, you don't need arms to wear a straitjacket.
Kind of scene, okay.
Thank straight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zip It. You've chosen wisely. I'm legally obliged to reaffirm your decision because it's in my best interest to do so. Okay, so Horgo.
That would be perfect for the Smurf. The group.
Well, I mean, Horgamel's already incapacitated, so I mean, he doesn't need it.
He tried the Barden brand straitjacket, and it's not working for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, what variety
Hogtied.
of flavor is that canwich?
I'm looking over the can. What flavor does it say on the can?
Oh, let me.
I'm gonna give you license to say what it is. It's this.
Beef. It's it's Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe does not contain actual Joe.
That was almost to where his mind was going. So they ground up a person named Joe and stuffed him in a can.
Not quite. No. It's.
I'm pretty sure it's just made by
Unless you like that.
Joseph.
All right, and what are the said ingredients in this so-called Sloppy Joe?
There's beef. There's Worcester sauce and salt and some pepper
I love salt.
and bread
Don't forget.
and lettuce
Oh yeah, don't forget about Joe's special sauce.
and it's Joe's special sauce.
Isn't there like 22% sloppy in there as well?
Bring it.
I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, 22% sloppy as well.
Okay, so if you could just inch just a little closer so that I might have a little smell, so that I know that it is the genuine thing, even though he didn't really know what a Sloppy Joe was.
I take my hat off and I take a step back and I put the can on the floor out of reach from him. I got my feet and I just start waving the air towards him.
Well, that does smell odd, but I haven't eaten in 4 days, so almost any edible smell is starting to be appealing.
Oh, I'll start toasting some then.
What is it that you really truly want?
Well, the way I see it, put my hat back on, straighten it. You got two options with us here. You can either A, option numero uno, you can leave the Smorkles alone forever and never again be seen by their kind. Option numero dos, number 2. You could, instead of scaring the daylights out of them, you could instead start negotiating with them and talking with them instead of kidnapping them. It's wrong. Those are the only two options I'm giving you. Anybody else got anything to throw in there?
Please, it's not good for your body to be tied up for 4 days.
Tell me about it.
Avoid that in the future.
No, you could give him another option. Just help us look for Morty.
Oh, that duck. That horrible, horrible little duck. He's incensed. With his stupid little hat and his stupid little coat.
Moose.
He can move in with the Moose family. Yes. Oh, that'd be
If you help
perfect.
us with Marty, we'll let you live in our house with Moose, and we'll overlook all of your evil deeds. Yeah.
What kind of a neighborhood do we all live in?
It's a fancy
26.
neighborhood.
Well, I mean, the other day we had a
2653
cookout
AC.
and we had some drowned smoky. It was great for the whole neighborhood.
Yeah. That it was.
Well, I don't really. I mean,
We have very nice plumbers.
do you? What? Is that supposed to be a selling point? He's like, I have a shed out back that I do my business in. I mean, think about it. It's Horgamel. He doesn't have electricity. Just imagine Gargamel, like, back from the cartoon. Maybe not from, like, I'm not sure, like, what he's, like, in the CGI movies or whatever, but Horgamel is, like, a guy who lives in a shed, whose bathroom is probably a bucket.
Imagine if your bucket gets plugged. I'm just saying. There's many...
Isn't he wrapped in electrical cord?
I said electrical cord. Now that I'm thinking about it, thank you. That is usually... You're right. It's not electrical cord. It is just simply a rope.
It's an imitation electrical cord.
I can't afford the real thing, alright?
Yeah, we have real electricity, running water, plumbing, a refrigerator.
I have a pot and a kind of magnification. It's just a magnifying glass. And I have candles, and I have a bed, and a chair, and he just starts naming his worldly possessions, which...
And fires attract water, and we don't...
Yeah, but do you have Toon cable?
Toon cable?
You know, it's got all the good TV shows on it, like Ralphus and Rufy, and Rufy, and just Rufy, the Second Coming.
Oh, and you also have the one channel, that like live streams snow all the time.
That's a channel that I had, and every occasion, once in a while, we would gather around, and sometimes we would see Fred Flintstone glimpse through the fuzz, but it would only be for brief moments. You see, I did not come from a very wealthy family or really a wealthy parish.
Well,
it was very... Oh, if only I had been born to a different life. Oh, and you start to see that little thought bubble, and he starts, you see a much younger Horgamel.
It's a harp playing.
Walking uphill both ways to school, and how he ate gruel every day, and he was happy to have it, and how his only toy was a broom, and...
Okay. Living the high life, I see. All right.
It was a very, very difficult childhood.
Hey guys, I think this guy is too busy having a flashback. Maybe we should come back later.
No, don't go anywhere.
No, then why is there a giant thought bubble above you?
Because I was having a moment of exposition. It was supposed to round out my character and make the audience care.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, but we can't see that.
Well, no, you can. You literally can. It's right there. It's like
all we can see is giant puffs of white smoke. Like it's like the image is a bit fuzzy. Maybe you forgot to
Well, that makes sense because I grew up with such horrible television that, of course, my flashbacks would be snowy. But that it was just a flashback of my childhood, and it was very depressing.
Oh, okay.
So, who are we looking for again?
Marty McDrake.
Marty?
Yes, out of character.
Oh, alright.
Yes, that's who you're looking for, and that's who hogtied him.
So, remember that time that you got hogtied, which landed you in the situation where you are right now?
Yes.
Whoever did that, would you know where he is? Or where he headed?
I might know said information.
Oh, you do? Well, if you tell us, I can tell him not to hog-tie you anymore.
Well, obviously, he's gone off and left. That is not going to just persuade me to tell you a thing. But for a few, let's see, how many would I need? Let's see, they're about the size of a little Cheerio. I would say I would need a bowl, my size bowl, filled with canwiches.
Well, just let me talk this over with my colleagues. I'll be right back.
I'll be right here.
So, we'll be needing a lot. Do you have a lot, by any chance?
No, I don't know. I can check.
I wish I didn't ask.
Oh God.
Well, what are
Too
the
late
specifics
now.
of what I want to pull out? So I want to.
A family pack.
Not just a family pack. I want to pull out an exact replica of this dude, except made out of canwiches.
Wow. Okay. Go big or go home. That's
all right.
interesting.
That's gonna be interesting.
I cover my face with my hat.
And he's also sent.
Oh my God! You do it. Okay, so immediately you look at
this guy who said yes.
Okay, so immediately now the thing is even though you procure all these canwiches, they are still in the can, and each can will have to be opened. Yes.
Okay, they all combine together to form a sentient replica of this dude.
No. I just see a whole bunch of cans just spilling out. These, they're tiny size. So imagine they're kind of like Cheerios. They'll be like Cheerio size.
Oh, okay.
But there's just all these little cans. So each one of these cans would have to be into a bowl.
Well, he didn't ask for open cans.
I'm just gonna
We're negotiating here. Aisle. It is a process. It is a dance. So immediately he's like, "Oh, you weren't lying, right? We
upheld our end of the bargain. So I guess you gotta help us out now."
We haven't had a close. I was merely asking if you had more of that amount. I didn't specifically agree.
Okay, well, if you don't want to negotiate, we'll be on the way now.
We'll take it.
We are negotiating, obviously. If I am tied up here, how can I open up all those teeny tiny little cans?
Well, I don't know. How are you gonna? Why would we open the cans if you don't help us out?
We're getting to it. We are
If
getting
you give
there.
us your word, you'll tell us everything you know about our friend. Then I shall proceed to open these lots of cans for you, which would be an enormous effort on my part, but I'd like to do it in an extent.
Okay. Here's the thing. You, apparently, at least the bushy-tailed one over there, seems to have a repulsion for my science. I would say that duck had similar sensibilities. He, as well, did not like my science. But, in my opinion, if one is to truly understand a thing, a few eggs must be broken. That is where, fundamentally, our science differs. Also, the fact that he has a pot and a magnifying glass and paper, while Marty McDrake has everything else, So, he's like, apparently he does not like the idea of examination. Of course, I've never been able to really investigate a smoker per se, but that is the objective. Now, you seem to have a different opinion. His answer to the problem was this. Highly unagreeable, but it has been my life's work. And when he says his life's work, ever since he moved in place of Gargamel, it's hardly a life's endeavor. It's just however many years he's been working on this. But it's not like he started this when he was a child or something.
No, obviously he was going to school with his broom.
It wasn't a very good school, right? But I was the #1 pupil. It was the only pupil.
Very good.
The broom wasn't much competition. So
Seamus just kind of leans over to Mr. Hyde and whispers, "Hey, I think this guy's a wizard or something. I mean, he went to a broom school."
That's interesting that you should bring that up.
Yeah, you think he's a wizard? Yeah, you think he can do magic?
What is a wizard?
It's an old man with a large beard walking around with a cane. He kind of has a lot of. What?
Does he have a cane?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He can make himself fly and he can turn you into pigeons.
Then how can he not get out of his ropes?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have his cane.
Or it's magic ropes.
Or
he doesn't have his cane.
So y'all are having this conversation, between Mr. Hyde, the fire hydrant, and Seamus, the swordfish. They're off having this little. They turn their backs. They're kind of do. That's impression, you know. Well, what are you, Teddy and Red doing? Are y'all just listening intently to Horgamel, or do y'all have any thoughts that you share with each other?
Brendan, you go first.
Well, I don't quite like it. This science talk he's talking about sounds dangerous, and these poor Smarkles, they need our help. And I ain't too keen on helping this Horgamel if he's going to keep scaring them poor little Smarkles.
Yes, I prefer my eggs intact. Well, I do have to break some for my bread, of course, but if he breaks them already, I don't know what to do about it.
The big problem is I don't think he's breaking eggs for breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I think.
That's not good.
I think he's using a metaphor. He's
oh no!
It is a metaphor.
I was not programmed for this. I need to get a software update somewhere.
Instead of using chicken eggs for breakfast, he's going to break Smarkles and eat them for breakfast.
But how do they even slightly resemble eggs?
I don't know.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. I'm trying not to listen to your little discourse here, but I have to say it is a metaphor.
All right. Oh.
Now, you're saying something about the different accommodations.
Yes. We have this wonderful place in a beautiful neighborhood with very good neighbors. And as I said, plumbers, which you do not need, but you will in the future, since you will be using a toilet. Have you heard of it? It is something only the smartest of the smart have.
A toilet.
A toilet, yes. It is only for the high class.
To let what? To let something in?
Some people call it
to let your feces disappear.
Saturday morning cartoons. We've gone into Ed, and Eddie apparently.
It's a portal to a very dark dimension, but it is used only for feces.
Okay, you would have just said it is a form of an outhouse, you know.
Well, similar, but not cool enough.
That sounds exactly like an outhouse.
I lean in and I just whisper, I would have told him that it was the brown whirlpool.
I don't know that would have cleared anything up.
Imagine having an outhouse, but without any of the outhouse smell.
Ooh,
and it not being appealing. Out of the house.
Inside the domicile?
I know. It's
cutting edge technology.
Radical, but
but if I leave, then I would never know the secrets of why their absolute strength.
Have you considered employing them? You know, you give them money and then you can experiment on them, right? You treat them like salarymen. They just come in to get in their 8-hour shift and then leave.
8-hour shift of experimentation, yeah.
Look, Horganel, I think you've been getting off on the wrong foot with these snorkels. You're thinking you have to break these eggs, but really, all you have to.
Well, I've never been able to really properly examine one at all.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. You gotta get some communication and say, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry, I got caught up in the moment and trying to research and eat you guys. Let's talk about this, and we can understand."
But I want to examine this inside outhouse. This fascinates me. An outhouse that is not out, but in.
Yes. And it also has, what's it called? A flushing function.
A flush. Like when you play cards.
Fire hydrant. Imagine having a fire hydrant on your outhouse, flushing away your evil deeds.
Sounds very
No, just-
spiritual.
I'm trying to use a metaphor. I'm not programmed for this.
Your alliteration is very, very strange. All right. Well,
Yes.
here's the thing. I will agree to how do you say?
A ceasefire?
Is in the matter of speaking, I want to say that the things that you are saying are in fact true. Oh, but wait a minute. What size is this so-called outside, outhouse inside? Oh, that hurts my head.
You know, it's the same size as an outhouse. It's as big as you need it to be.
But is it your size?
Well, it's as big as you need it to
Was
be.
our size.
By the way, your kind of creatures aren't supposed to be this small. Have you not questioned that?
I just figured it was part of the plot line.
I assumed it had to do with the ratings. People like small creatures. They're adorable.
It's because our parents didn't feed us enough when we were growing up.
I mean, don't you
Definitely.
think I'm cute with the tiny fluffy tail?
Yes, but that's besides the point.
I'm like
Is it
fluffing my
though?
tail now.
If you untie me and let me have my canwiches and give me the address of this outhouse in-house room that I might go investigate it, I will greatly consider ending my research, my life's work on
You said-
unlocking the secrets of the snorkel.
I take my hat off and put it over my heart. Oh, it sounds like he's having a change of heart.
So, some people call the outhouse the throne. In my opinion, it's taking a step up.
Yeah, it's not just the throne. It's like the throne.
I'm really just going to have to see it for myself.
Yes.
Do testing,
it's-
observation, maybe a group test.
Yes, usually people don't really do it in groups, but if that's what you're into, it's very possible.
He just has no idea what y'all are on about.
I'll
Seamus
just go off in the background trying to...
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a because of the state that he's in, which is kind of a little bit delirious. He's hungry and all that. I'm gonna see just how deeply he buys into, you know, the fact that y'all have this really nice house and this
Little dark and
inside,
then-
outside house. He totally believes it. Cause that he doesn't, you know, that's a pretty high.
He just isn't ready for it.
So he's y'all have piqued his interest with this. You know, it's living somewhere that's it wouldn't take too much for any accommodation to be nicer than what he has. So, yeah, he's trying to not seem eager though. You know, to going along with this plan. He's trying to, you know, just like when you're buying a car, you don't want to seem too eager with the dealer. You want to be like, no.
Should I
we'll
slap
come
the
back.
roof? Maybe.
What?
So that's something all car dealers do for some reason.
I-
It's like,
It's 20,000 flushes to the mile.
Yeah. So
Flushes
like
all your evil deeds in
he's-
0.3 seconds.
So
Yep.
he's trying not to seem, eager about your offer. He's trying to be like, "Well,
Oh, guys,
I
is it hot in
suppose."
here? It's like this place has no air conditioning.
Air conditioning? What's air
yeah.
conditioning?
Whew. Now that you
Yeah,
said
it's
Is it like you condition the air to like?
Getting,
I don't know. How do you condition air?
it's getting quite toasty in here, actually.
it's quite. A
Wouldn't you say
scientific
that
process,
though? You're a toaster. Isn't everywhere you go toasty? Never mind, it was a pun. Forget it. It's all wasted. Maybe that was too high. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, untie me.
Yes, about the untying part.
Oh, right. You want to know about your duck friend? He hates the duck.
Preferably, yes.
Well, I believe that to remember these things, I would remember a lot clearer if I wasn't such a hungry state.
Seamus just waddles around the area, picking up the sentient canned candwiches. It starts.
They're not sentient. They're not sentient.
I specifically specified.
You said that you wanted it to be like come out and there be like as much as him.
No. I wanted an exact replica. So like physically the same as him exactly, and also sentient.
You didn't say sentient.
Until after.
You
Yeah,
didn't
he
say
said that
sentient.
in the last second.
Yeah, and I was like, no.
Okay,
You
fine,
can't say
then
that
what?
after it's out of the bag.
Okay, well I just start tossing them into his mouth.
I'll do my coat of arms thing to try and.
I can't open.
Yeah, I'm trying to do like a nine type can open a spider type.
Wait a
thing.
minute. Who's to say that after I tell you this, you won't just toddle off and I'll be just left here to starve again until someone else comes along?
Jameis is still just casually tossing the.
Well,
like against his head.
to be honest, we
Yeah.
need you to hold off your dog.
And also, it's
He's
all,
outside. He's like, well,
Well-
I can't very well do that if my hands are
go outside.
tied, can I? He's been running roughshod around here, thinking that he's the boss. Now that I've been incapacitated, as it were, he has been kind of the boss. I don't know what he's been doing, actually. But he's been eating, I know that much.
Yes. I sure hope he did.
Well, he's not dead.
Do you know that?
I heard him yapping outside.
Okay, good.
You know, I
Okay.
just think that he's opening your mouth as y'all toss them in, just like,
they're
you
still
know.
in the can, so
I'm not even
You
gonna
said
try.
that y'all were opening them!
I never
Yes,
said we never said we were.
I didn't roll for it yet. I was gonna
Okay.
do that.
All
Can
right,
I open a
people.
spider with my coat of arms?
Okay. It's 2d6 when you use
Oh,
your
sorry.
shtick. You do it! Your
Yes, I know
hands,
it.
all your little hands come out and they're just opening and
I'm a
flinging.
spider of can opening.
Yeah, you are. And they're doing things as you want them to. You know, when you fail the coat of arms thing, the arms malfunction and things like that.
They start
happen.
opening me. It's like, oh, bugger.
Yeah. So no, they're opening things.
The hunter has become the hunted.
It's like, well, I can hardly control my dog if I am in this state. Now, can I? You know, as like food gets shoveled into his mouth. You know.
Yeah, I imagine each can is like probably, let's say,
Well, it's like it's a bunch of cans. All the hands are springing forth out of him, and they're individually like.
Yeah, I'm
Thing,
just,
oh yeah,
so-
just
popping
each one
cans
is
left and
filled
right.
at, like, you know.
Yeah, it's Toony. It's Toony. So these
I'm
hands
just
are like.
trying to imagine how many have to fly in for it to be like one speck for him.
Well, enough for it to be like think
A
of them as
comical
like
amount.
It's
yeah.
like one of them is like one chip. I believe, right?
Well, no,
The one
it's more, I
Cheerio.
think, yeah, like a little Cheerio. They're about like that size. So it'd be like throwing like 5 Cheerios in his mouth at a time, and he chews and follows, you know.
So there's been this question on my mind, and all the great wizards have been talking about it lately, but I haven't quite found the answer yet. Would you, by any chance, want to give it a try?
Oh, sure, why not?
Well, there is this thing. It's called the Bread of the Ancients, and it is located somewhere,
The bread of
and
the
I
ancients.
don't know where.
I myself grew up on gruel, so whenever the bread of the ancients was spoken about, I was most fascinated by it. For when you grow up on gruel, any story or commercial about some other kind of sustenance becomes most tantalizing.
Ah, yes. Would you by any chance know where it is located?
As if the bread of the ancients would have an address. And as if anybody one does not look up the address of the bread of the ancients and just roll up. That's just nonsense.
Well, then how is one supposed to go to the bread of the ancients? What do you suggest, oh great wise person?
Well, finally somebody giving me the proper address that I deserve. Well, I am a scientist, and I don't really deal in lore, as it were. He's not a scientist. He's some backshed shaman. Yeah, you're all scientists if he's a scientist, but that's how he thinks of himself. He's like, well, I would, I suppose, find someone of mythological academics.
Ah, yes.
I mean,
where would I find such a person?
how would you find such a person? I live in a shed.
Well,
Wait, guys!
I thought you were the wise one.
I am wise.
Teddy.
I am wise. Of course, I am wise.
Teddy,
I just
Teddy,
told
this
you who
guy-
to contact, or
If this
what
guy
sort of
is
person.
wise and he lives in a shack, and we need to find a guy who's a master of mythology, then he must live
Wow.
in a library.
That's a very good assumption. That would be a very good place to look. I haven't been in a library. Well, our library had 2 books.
Well, no scientist goes to a library
And
ever.
the pages were ripped out of those books.
What books were they?
Are there even books?
Well, the covers said, what was that to cover? It was something like The Idiot's Guide to Improv, and, I'm totally not making this up. I'm totally making this up. And, method acting, whatever those things are. The pages were ripped out, as I said.
The secret to improv is timing.
I didn't. I just got to
That's the whole
stare at
book.
the cover.
That's why Teddy's so good at it. He's always on time.
I'll set my timer.
Right. But anyway, I believe I'm halfway through this meal, but if I'm ever to tell you about your friend, the duck, then I shall have to be untied so that I might take my precious pooch with me to see this so-called inside house with hair conditioning.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
And if you want more hair, we can help you find a guy.
What?
Your cup, it's looking a little, Maybe you need more. Maybe you need less.
I'm starting to feel very insecure.
Well,
but,
I mean,
but he's starting to wonder if, you know.
I walk up to Mr. Hyde and I like kind of just quick slap him with my hat, like, "What are you doing?"
I mean, Mr. Hyde has a very nice scalp, right? It's very.
Oh, he's metal,
Yeah.
but he has facial hair, which by all accounts makes no sense, but it is the reality.
Damon's just he grabs a nearby pencil and a piece of paper, so I'm assuming they're giant, and starts writing down the address of that vampire hair salon.
Okay, all right.
Hey, he just hands it to, so not really handing it over because the big dude's tied up, but he tosses it gently over, and he's like, "Okay, here's our address. Feel free to drop by anytime for the."
Wait, so you're not giving him the address? You're giving him the address of the salon boutique?
Yeah, feel free to drop by anytime.
Oh, okay.
You can also get yourself a nice hair conditioning.
Do any of you bother to see what address he's writing?
I have absolute and full, non-doubting trust in him.
Okay, I'm gonna
leave
I see it, but I don't say anything.
Okay.
I think I was too distracted reprimanding Mr. Hyde.
I don't think you even know where the house is.
Y'all did say it. Y'all did throw out a zip code.
2564 AC.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, wait a minute. That is the wrong zip code.
Oh, did I do my original address again? I'm so sorry. My software is all bugged up. I'm not quite.
Okay, now he's got some food into him. He's feeling a little bit better. He's not quite as stupid.
Oh yeah, he
Can I
might
try
be.
to smart talk him.
Teddy might have been.
Oh, he's like, I feel like somebody's not being very honest.
Yeah, Teddy must have gotten the original zip code mixed up with his parents' zip code. We visited them last week.
But you just wrote down the zip code. You're the one who wrote the address.
No. Teddy was saying that before when he mentioned the zip code, he made a mistake. I'm riffing off of that.
Okay, all right. Okay, he's like.
That's why I was like,
Okay.
can I fast talk him?
Okay, I understand now. Then there's no need. I suppose. Right. Oh, but then you botched, or did you? Never mind.
Can I fast talk him?
Sure.
Or no? Or is it?
If you'd like to.
I don't know. What's supposed to be the case? I don't know. I'm not gonna fast talk if I don't need to fast talk.
Y'all are trying to convince him that this address that you're giving him is your residence, because y'all did say y'all have a place. So when he gets there and he finds out this is not...
Isn't a hair salon in the same zip code as us?
No.
No?
No. Think of like San Antonio.
Like
there are lots of different zip codes in San Antonio.
I'd like to convince him it's not that zip code then, but that we just messed up.
Okay.
But did Bruce just say the zip code, or have I only said the zip code?
A bunch of you were kind of murmuring the zip code incoherently at the time.
Well, then I'm not going to be able to fast talk myself out of that. So I guess we'll deal with that later.
Okay.
But this, what do we do about this duck-tied wizard now?
That's a good question. I sat down and put my hands behind my head. I'm sure y'all figure it out real quick, like.
Yes. I don't think any of us are capable of cutting ropes, are we?
Have you? What? Excuse me. Have you not seen my nose?
Your nose is you actually said you're not the sharpest.
He is a swordfish.
I'm gonna like
Swordfish, not a
aggressively.
saltfish.
I'm gonna walk away from the ropes and go sit with Brendan, with Red.
Daddy, don't you have like a hacksaw in your little coat of arms or something?
I don't.
No sauce, no scissors.
No, I have no idea how to cut these ropes.
You don't. They're
I mean-
knots. They're in knots. Theoretically, your hands could untie.
I just like as I'm laying there.
Unless you don't want to.
Exactly.
Seamus just kind of looks at the ropes and looks at the knots and then figures it's too much of a hassle to untie them, so he tries pulling out a blowtorch.
So
Set the.
as I'm-
Okay.
Fudge.
Oh no.
All right.
Oh god.
Blowtorch!
Okay.
Oh no.
All right.
Is this going from mischief to murder?
So
How
the
to get away
ropes
with
start
murder.
burning, and they do kind of thing, but he's rolling around.
Bruce, maybe don't.
Da 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 da. It's my turn. He got to have his
Takes
action.
the blowtorch and kind of operates on the knots
Red, help me, please.
and burns through them.
Yeah, and they burn. So does the cloth on Horgamel's outfit, and so does some of the straw and debris and leaves that are on Horgamel's floor, and so does his furniture.
I'm leaving.
What size
Yes.
blowtorches?
Take me with you, please.
Now think about this. Y'all are tiny. It is quite the walk to the front door.
Oh,
It's okay. I can toss everybody there.
well, yeah.
Okay. But you are currently, unless you drop it, a bat?
I already did drop.
Okay,
it.
you did drop. Okay, all right. So if you want to try, God, that's gonna have to be 4 successful flings,
I'm seeing
unless
fire everywhere. And
y'all offer Horgamel something and Horgamel will pick you up.
Or
You know, I think Horgabel's too busy rolling around trying to put out the fire. So I guess we can get out of here since we already freed him.
I heard Mr. Hyde say some.
What was your?
I'm completely concerned about the fire, and I'm
That's right, because our
water trying
okay. All right.
to put out everything.
Okay. So I would say that you have the capacity to forcefully spray water when there is a large body of water or liquid available to you. Otherwise, I would say that what you have is whatever amount that is in
Size.
your being
And he doesn't
currently.
have a sink.
No, he doesn't. He has a
Hold on.
bucket. And that bucket would not suffice the amount of flamage happening here.
So, Seamus put out a blowtorch that's like this big, and within 2 seconds, the fire's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a match lit? What a one little
Powerful
match can do?
I've seen it, what it can do over a half hour.
Dad Czar says, never heard of this RPG.
The inside of his dwelling, everything is very dry.
That's the first thing I noticed when I walked in here.
Everything in this house hasn't eaten in 4 days.
Hungry for fire.
Yeah.
But I mean, his thing in his clothes, and he started rolling around. But be that as it may, y'all are like 3 inches tall. Things are burning. It's a bit of a
Seamus.
distance.
I mean,
I never thought I'd say this, Seamus, but please throw me.
as soon as I see flames, I'm fox-footing it out of there on all fours.
You're fox-footing it? Okay. There is a run roll. So those who are being flung, make me your run checks under the zip
My
Right.
running is my strongest role, obviously.
You like hopping.
So,
All right, I'm tossing Teddy.
For lack of
You're
legs.
so
I'm
I need
tossing Teddy.
to hit a
All right.
4. I
Oh
got a
my
1.
god!
Yes.
Okay, so y'all were in that room, so I'll say you make it back to the door, you know, because this is gonna be a series of checks. It's not just gonna be one and done.
Oh no.
Alright, so y'all were inside that room, you make it, you're now to the doorway, so that was first successful
running.
check. Are you running? But Seamus is like, no, I'll fling you! Seamus
yeah.
wants to fling someone. Seamus is...
I'm tossing Teddy.
Okay. Looks like Team Teddy might be blasting off again.
I'm just stuck in the ground and he just grabs
You're
me
just
up
like,
before I can get
"No!"
up and he's just like, oh, another one.
Is Horgamel untied at this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's like, you know, like,
Well,
ouch, you know, typical cartoon fashion. Some of his garments are like getting singed, and he's thinking about, what do I save? My broom. You know, he's thinking about, you know, he's things because he's leaving, obviously. So he's trying to grab some things.
As
Yeah.
Seamus proceeds to fling himself out the door. Classic Seamus fashion. He just winds up with one hand, grabbing the base of his tail, just windmills it with his whole body spinning, except for the part of his arm from his shoulder down, which stays in place for some reason, and then
Okay.
flings himself through the door. Like,
Oh, so you flung yourself. Okay, Mr. Hyde. What actions are you taking? Are you?
I guess I'm trying to fast talk Horgamel into 1, getting out of here, and 2, taking me.
Okay, all right. So
Orders.
my first thought is like the piece of paper with the address on it begins to catch fire, and I will say that you do have some water inside of you. He's like,
Mhm.
oh no, the address! Somebody save the address!
Okay, so I guess I put some water.
Yeah,
on the-
you put.
so that
He's like, thank you, tiny little fire hydrant. That is what you are,
Right,
right?
we got to get out of here.
Right,
The whole
right.
Building's burning.
So, and he's like, and my, let's see, I have the broom, and I have that one notebook, my magnifying glass, my Bunsen burner, and, well, that's really it.
My frames.
And that, you know, he's like, I'm not going to bother with that chair. That chair was hideous. I never liked that chair anyway. So he's hot-footing and he picks you up, Mr. Hyde, and so he gets to the doorway and he sees the little fox, Red. He's like, good heavens, you should be getting out of here. What are you doing standing in my way?
I'm huffing it.
Well, hoof faster.
I can't go much faster. I'm tiny.
Oh, shut up. And he picks you up.
Mind the tail.
Oh, this is not a time for worrying about aesthetics.
It is always time to worry about aesthetics.
Okay.
He
Okay.
gets me.
Teddy and I are just flying through the air.
Okay, you and George are like, wee! Looks like Seamus and Teddy are blasting off again.
I remember why I never wanted this.
Okay. And so y'all land at the door just at the time as Horgamel gets there. He's like, move out of my way! He's like,
Okay, sure. Yeah.
and he's like, I want to pick you up too. And so then he like opens the door and he looks at the dog who is just now he's like getting up and kind of staggering, you know, the coconut, you know, on the ground beside him, just like, what happened? What just happened? And Horgamel is and he almost steps on the high tider when he's coming out. He almost steps on it.
disrespectful.
Well, it's a little thing. He's looking at his
beyond your belief.
His field of vision at this moment, because his house is caught fire. Normally, he does look down quite a lot because you know how he was trying to like capture snorkels and stuff. So, but right now, he's looking up. He's not really looking down. So he almost steps on the high tider. But he's like, what is this? And he picks up the what seems like to him now it's like toy car size. And he's just like, what is it? He's got very strange symbols and hieroglyphics on it. He's talking about your paint job. He's like, this is very. And then the house starts to cave in flames. She's like, what am I doing? So he gets out of his doorway. You know, because he was like, what is, you know? And so he
Don't you hate that feeling when you're admiring a small car and your house burns down? Just saying.
I can
Wouldn't
relate.
have happened if you could have gotten to zip it.
I can relate. And so he gets down to the end of the pathway, because it kind of had this weird little fence. It was so disheveled. It was hardly... You know, you can imagine that's probably what it was, but it was a terrible fence. So he gets down to the end of the pathway, looks at it, and watches his hovel burn to the ground. And then you hear some sad little music from, you don't know where it comes, but it's a Toon thing that has.
It's like 3 crickets on a brush. It's
yeah, it's very, and he's just like. Oh, the memories. Oh, the... What am I saying? It totally sucked living there. Onward! You know? It's just...
Oh.
So, he's like, well, I suppose... In which direction do I find this place?
You know, I think you keep going, if you just keep going straight and in any direction, you'll eventually get there.
That can't possibly be true. That is
It
not...
is most
I know,
definitely-
even if the world is flat, that is not true.
It is.
I read the cover of 2 books. I didn't read because the pages were missing, but I read the covers. I am not completely illiterate.
Good.
Just tell him which way it is. Come on.
I don't know which way it is.
No, not you. Shane.
Ask.
I don't
Shark.
know which way it is. I was asleep during the whole half the ride here.
Rediscombobulated because of the shrinkage. So once we get back to normal size, we'll be able to tell you better. But until then, we peons.
Well, then I guess we will have to go back to the point where you were the proper size.
Oh,
Correct.
that's
That's a great idea.
So, this would mean going back to your point of origin.
Pittsburgh.
That may be so.
Somebody do a fast talk right now.
Ooh.
Oh, what?
Somebody do a fast talk. There's lying going on here.
Do you want a D12, D6? Or...
D12.
Let's see. What kind of what do we?
Ooh.
Okay. What are you saying, man?
That's a fail.
Is it a...
No.
No.
No,
You have to roll 6 and under.
No, that's
No,
me.
9. I had
Teddy
to roll
got
9.
Yeah.
Teddy. Oh, I was looking at Seamus's number. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's the thing. You make it, but depending on how low your number is and how high your number is, even when you succeed, the degree of your success plays in to how well it goes.
Mm.
Yes, you made the roll, but he's kind of like, well, obviously, I'm just not understanding what you are saying, and be that as it may, we have just undergone a very traumatic experience. Therefore, I believe that you will better be able to explain the situation to me. after a period of adjustment.
That sounds reasonable to me.
So he doesn't disbelieve it, he just kind of believes that you're shook. You know, you're shook.
Well, I'm shook. He was lit. Everything was going on.
Yeah.
It's great.
Greatest party ever.
You know what,
I
fella?
know.
That's the most sense you've made all day. I think we're finally starting to see eye to eye.
With the different heights is all this is perfect.
I suppose since you found me, this means that you met the Smorkles. I believe that will be a very good place to start.
Evil
Okay.
villain music playing in the background.
No, the music stopped as soon as he's like, what am I saying? It sucked living here. You know, it's just, it abruptly went, like the record scratched, and that's what happened. He's like, come, dog. He never really named the dog. It's just dog.
Sad.
Just like his broom is broom, the dog is dog. Dog.
I suggest the dog be named.
He doesn't name.
Our
It's called
mighty
dog.
wise person.
His name is Dog. You call a broom, a dog, a dog.
Have you heard the new intellectuals?
And while this conversation is, he's like picked all of you up and he's carrying you now, and y'all are headed towards Smurfton.
Wait, where's the high tider?
It's in his hand. This little toy.
Better be in his hand.
It is in his hand.
Okay.
Oh man, that means I can get nice.
If that's not in your hand, things are gonna get out of hand. So
Ooh.
Oh, that was a good pun.
I have everything well in hand, literally.
I'm a toaster. I do two things: buns and
So we're
puns.
going to
Man.
Snorkel?
That's everything.
That's it.
And speaking of dogs, their arch nemesis are cats, and our second sponsor is Cats in Hats, specifically their newest creation, which is the inflatable wizard hat. It also glows in the dark. But yes, this is an inflatable wizard's hat that you can affix to your pet cat, and it apparently glows in the dark. I don't know why, but I did write that down. They were very specific in me pointing out this feature of the product. You know, they were very specific about that. The Cats and Hats people, well, inflatable hats. So I think that for this, I'll say Seamus and Red, or Seamus, Brandon, and Bruce, you will be doing the pitch for the sponsor, Cats in Hats, the inflatable wizard hat that glows in the dark for cats. And off you go. You're
Meow.
welcome.
Meow, 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 meow.
Hey, you see this cat? Look at him. He's got a hat, right? Isn't that great? Well, from the creators of the 2-gallon milk jug on the head and the glow-in-the-light broomstick, the Cat in the Hats bunch brings you the glow-in-the-dark wizard hat that is inflatable, which you can put on your cat.
Wow.
See how glow-in-the-dark this cat is?
Wow.
Buy your product now, or he will buy your cat.
Okay. I'm sure that the Cats and Hats people are confident in their decisions that they're making, and that no one from their PR department will be fired at all.
All right, meow. And we'll double your offer.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Seamus seems to think he's a cat.
Well, he was just a fox pretending to be a cat. I mean, it's a huge cat, but I mean he had the ears and the
He's
tail.
halfway there.
Yeah, he is, and he's already wearing a cowboy hat, so he just like
Just
puts on the
change the hat.
inflatable wizard
Yeah,
hat.
it was just
Cat in the hat knows where it's
a
at.
cowboy cat.
Yeah, cowboy cat. Why'd you want to wear a hat like that, cowboy cat?
Is that a real product?
Yes. Well, similar things exist, like the unicorn horn. Some of these things actually do.
Yeah, like the
exist.
Zip It. It's a real life.
Somewhere, probably. Don't put children. That's not the answer. Really, it's not.
It's
Tongue in cheek. It's tongue in cheek here. We don't actually condone caging children or putting caffeine patches on children. We don't actually believe that.
Just get
Disclaimer.
them a Snuggie.
Get them a Snuggie. Alright, so
Put it in a
Horgamel
sleeping
is
bag.
carrying you away from his burning hovel with a dog, trailing along. The dog is holding the coconut in its mouth, and it's like a huge coconut. The dog is struggling to carry this coconut, but that's what he's doing because I'm not making this stuff up. I'm totally making all this up. And, it's because he's larger, it actually takes a shorter amount of time than when y'all drove there because of how small y'all were. So, in 2 minutes, y'all are there. And all of a sudden, you hear this, these tiny screams like, "Oh no! Horgamel is on the way!" And people scrambling, going, "Oh no, it's Horgamel!" And Mom, I'm so scared of the big Horgamel! Just general chaos ensuing as as all the Smorkles are scrambling to take cover and stuff. He's like, "Don't worry about it. They always do this. We'll have the whole town to ourselves. Sometimes I eat their food." Okay, alright. A lot of the time.
Is it good?
Better
Better than gruel.
It is. It's the only other time I've had anything to eat. Well, besides when y'all fed me sandwiches. Anyways. See, look. The town is practically vacated. And y'all look around and all the windows are boarded up and you see some people peeking through the windows and they've got these little blow darts. They're
ready.
They are. He's like, "They always do that." After that sandwich, I kind of feel a bit thirsty. And he goes to the fountain, the fountain in the town, and he just sort of picks it up and is like, "They haven't cleaned this out in a while, but it's wet."
All the requirements for a good drink. It's gotta be wet.
Yep.
Basically, he's got pretty low standards, really. Poor Horgamel. He's led such a horrible life. And so he's like, he puts y'all down, and he's like, "Citizens of..." what was the name of the town? Smurfton. Y'all really should change the name since the Smurfs don't live here anymore, but whatever. I am going on a vacation.
I'm just gonna hold up a sign with applause on it. Just go
People
around.
do a slow clap. And there's well, I wasn't expecting that. Who started it? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's the first time I've been applauded in my life. I like it. He's like, "And I will be departing forthwith as soon as I know the direction. So if somebody could point me in the direction which these persons came," and of course everybody is so ready to get him to leave, they all point in the genuine direction y'all came from. So as far as sending him off on the completely wrong direction, he's initially at least, going in the right direction.
We were sending him off to the wrong direction anyways.
You are. I don't know why y'all felt like to try and like lie even bigger, but I guess
I don't want him pooping in our bathroom.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
my
even-
feces portal. I'm sorry, but
you are an animanologist. You don't have bodily anyway, we're.
well, I mean, he kind of does.
Well, he does. I guess Seamus and the other biological life forms do, but I mean, you and Mr. Hyde don't really have
Mr.
that.
Hyde has fluids, at least.
He
I do have a fountain
technically-
set up in my.
Okay, this is going on far too long. Okay.
The anatomy of.
So when everybody points, just like all these little fingers, just they emerge from like outdoors and windows. He's like, oh, well, then I guess I will be off. And off he goes. With
Did he at least set us down beforehand?
Of course he did. Yeah, he set y'all down when he went to pick up like the town fountain, for a drink. He like set y'all down, and like the dog like follows after him with this coconut in his mouth, and off goes Horgamel, and he's walking brisk. He's excited about the discoveries that he's going to make. And people start kind of coming out of the house with like, he's really leaving? He's really kids, you can come out now.
Oh hey guys, I think we're forgetting something.
What are we forgetting?
And people like spill out in the streets, and there's like rejoicing, and they're like, this is great. This is the best day in all of history! And there was rejoicing throughout the kingdom, or at least, Smurfton.
We didn't start a forest fire, which was also very nice.
Hey guys, where's Arnold?
You stepped on my back here.
Yeah,
Oh,
you turn
okay,
around and
okay.
there's Arnold, yeah! And he's just saying, go wipe, these are the best days. So y'all found out backstory about it, but in the fire, though, kept y'all from getting the information about Marty.
Genius.
Y'all did not stop. He was just like, because I was pausing, I was giving y'all so much room to interject about, and now Marty, I really did that. I waited.
To Pittsburgh.
And then, all of you realize as you see Horgamel, the large Horgamel, getting smaller and smaller in the distance, because, well, distance. And then y'all realize we did get filled in on Marty.
Great
Going to Pittsburgh.
Okay. So, he's like, and then Gramps comes up and he's like, well, this truly is a day of celebration, isn't it? Y'all did what, well, how did y'all get him to leave? It doesn't matter. We will sing songs and write poetry and stories about how y'all came and painted my wall and rid us of the horror that was Horgamel, all within a 24-hour time frame. Actually, you know what? Since we actually run, and like our shows typically run like about half an hour, so really, wow. In real time, that only took you 30 minutes.
I step in Pappy's way, so that way I cover up the smoke billowing up into the sky.
Oh, okay.
With your beautiful tail.
I use my tail and my hat to full.
Like, ah!
Sun hat now.
He's like, all that's left to do is to finish the wall. Because y'all are almost done with it. So, and he's like, oh, hell, I'll just let everybody join in. I mean, it's such a happy day. Why not? Why deprive everyone from, a bit of fun? So he's like, all right, you miscreant youth, I know that you've been yammering at me for decades about painting my wall. Well, you can have the last corner of it. And they're like, yay! And so, all these people just run around to the one little bit of wall that isn't still painted. And they almost you just, see paint flying here and there. He's like, well, at least 90% of it has a vision. No.
Pappy, if I may interject for a moment, do you know anything about a giant mallard about Horgamel size?
Well, he wasn't Horgamel size. He was the size about us. The only person who's a Horgamel size or really large is Horgamel and his dog. Although you creatures should be larger. I'm not sure. This is
the
odd.
largest toaster ever made.
I can't say I can't disagree with that. Be that as it may, that when your friend was here, the Mallard Marty, he was talking about phenomena of a variety, and he seemed to believe that. Oh, he was talking about something called a rating, and that maybe that's why he got smaller or something. I don't know how one correlates to the other per se. That was just his summation.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he was investigating that sort of thing. So when we said that Horgamel was, large, I guess he wanted to take a look at that and see why that was or something.
Yeah, he did say that he was talking with Horgamel and he disapproved of his ethics. But we were trying to figure out
Horgamel didn't have ethics. Well,
yeah, we're working on it.
I'm just happy that I didn't think I'd live to see the day when we'd be rid of that awful giant.
Giant, yeah, that's the word.
So, Dick Gramps, you know where Marty's heading?
Well, last time I saw him, he said that he was going to deal with Horgamel or see Horgamel, and he just didn't come back.
All right, boys. We've got two options now. We can either head to Pittsburgh, where Marty is definitely supposed to be, or we could head to the Smithsonian, where everybody lost just ends up. It's like the Bermuda Triangle, except you kind of just end up walking indefinitely in a direction, and you stop paying attention to everything around you, and suddenly you're to the Smithsonian.
That sounds pretty accurate. It would explain all the things we lose, I guess.
Teddy, is your bread of the ancients or toast or whatever, is that going to be at the Smithsonian with the history?
Oh, you might just be right.
I figure museums, they have old and dusty stuff, and sometimes when you see dust you think of crumbs and then bread. But
yes, Smithsonian equals mold. I am 100% for it.
So even if he's not there, then we can still investigate that.
Okay. Alright, he's like, I have no idea what you people are talking about. The museum. I understood that part. That's about it. I'm a mechanic.
That's all you need to know.
What happened to your vehicle? What did
There was a little coconut accident. It got everywhere.
Well, I'll say you're gonna need this thing detailed. Sounds like I have a job to do. Let me get my little vacuum. And my little brushes. It's like I'll have to reorganize my garage. Yeah, so he's just like like he said, he only gets like to deal with people when they like come through, because nobody else really has a vehicle, so he really relies on out of town business. So he gets in the car and he starts like cleaning and zipping around, and in very Toon fashion, you see bubbles and soap, and you hear vacuums and all that. He's like, won't be but a moment. Just, he even lifts the underside of the car. You're not sure how he does it, but he just goes, and he just vacuums underneath the car, just like, there you go, so much better. Oh, little spot.
We going to the Smithsonian or Pittsburgh? Because I think Pittsburgh's still the best option.
I don't know.
Why are we? You can pick
again.
Because everybody lost goes there. Let's say they somehow end up there. They don't know how they get there.
I thought that was the Smithsonian that people.
My wonderful bread of the Asians will be moving less than Duck Friend.
Marty, his name. His name's Marty. Y'all went to Toon school.
Duck Friend.
By name. Refuses to address him by name.
Yeah.
Horgamel did, because Horgamel was not a fan.
Duck.
Yeah.
But I suggest we go after Marty, since he is probably moving, or at least will be moving more, because he has legs and Bread usually doesn't.
It's possible that I deal with this thing on the way there. It is a shared narrative. Says the animator to the page.
A Sheraton, yeah, good job.
Do the Smithsonian, then Pittsburgh, and then the ice cream parlor.
It might happen in that order. I get to decide what order that happens in, but it will happen.
Yes.
All right.
And
what do you think about it, Arnold?
He agrees.
Wake up. You alright back there?
Alright, are the repairs on the high tide are done?
Do we have the mustache? I'm prepared. Slaps a mustache on his face. From the emergency mustache kits. Yeah. I mean, Pappy's like, just a moment, dude. Just squeak. Posh and just. We're nearly done.
Oh yeah, Gramps, did you add those nitrous boosters we asked for 2 days ago?
Nitrous.
You said nothing of the kind, and you haven't been here for 2 days. You arrived here yesterday, and this is the very next day. Your sense of time is terrible.
Yeah, well, I was asleep the whole time. Maybe I was,
You were not. You painted the mural.
No.
No, he's like, you might need to seek professional help for that one.
No, you were about Seamus. His brain was little before he shrunk.
Ooh.
So then it's to size.
Sort of.
Alright. Well, I believe that that's fixed, and you got your tank of gas, changed the oil, got rid of all the coconut. It smells very nice, though. Very appealing. So tropical.
Yeah, I do love myself a good coconut smell in my car.
You don't have a sense of smell. You don't have a nose.
I'm just trying to fit in, okay?
Okay. It's like you can smell things?
Yeah. I feel the aroma of coconut upon
I
my
feel the aroma.
bare metal skin.
It's eroding as we speak.
Right, okay. So, Y'all, do y'all bother getting any souvenirs to commemorate your time in Smurfton, or take any pictures or anything like that? For y'all,
there isn't really anything of note to grab.
You don't know that.
Okay, so
well, I will investigate.
What would you like to have?
I would like to have.
Would you like it? I went to Smurfton and all I got was this T-shirt, or what?
Seamus tries to find the nearest
especially since
shop.
I cannot wear T-shirts. I would like that.
Okay, just like what would y'all like?
Seamus tries to find a pawn shop.
A pawn shop?
Nope.
I'll say there is because it interests me. I'll say that there is one. What would you like to get? He rolled a fat 12, but if I hear something really interesting, I'm not going to tell y'all no.
Seamus kind of waddles into the pawn shop, takes a quick look around and everything, and then moves up to the counter because he didn't actually look at everything in details. He doesn't know what's in there, and he's like, "Oh, hey there. I've been looking at your wares, and I was wondering if you have anything related to the bread of the ancients, or just anything really shiny."
Anything really shiny. Well, shiny, and you'll notice that it's like, "Oh, it's you. Remember me?" You don't remember me. We probably all look alike to you.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit disturbing.
Well, I'll just let you know, we do not look the same to each other, so just keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah, a little mole there, a little wrinkle there. Some smile marks there. Creased forehead, stuff like that, right?
She's a little bit wounded that you don't remember who she is, but she's like, "I'm the lady, I had all the children."
Oh,
Yeah. Right, and this is our shop. Kids, get in here! And so the kids come like, "Oh, it's the fish elephant guy."
Hey kids, so I was asking your mother right here if she has anything in the shop that's related to the bread of the ancients, or just anything really shiny.
Well, not per se, but I did get a few things in of late that are of note. Literally, the musical. It's a collection of ukuleles.
That's cool. Do you have any books?
Yeah, sure. What you looking for?
I'll take all the books in your inventory.
All right. Okay. She pulls out a box of like paperback romance novels.
I'm pretty sure this will help Teddy out. Maybe he'll get some inspiration from it and it'll help him find the bread.
If you say so, dear.
Romance.
Yeah, they're like trash romance things, and they're marked kids keep out.
Metaphors.
Yeah.
Snorkella. Ours is a love
yeah, you look at the cover, and one of them has a Fabio snorkel on the cover.
Okay, so there's only romance novels there.
Oh, in this box, but I mean, she probably hands you this box first because this stuff isn't selling. She's like, and then I have a couple of more. Here's one, and she's like stabs it. It's nothing for her to pick up because of her strength and stuff. And she's like, "Hold out your hands." And so she puts that box of romance ones, and then she puts a box of like cookbooks. That was some of those are from my collection. I've committed them all to memory. Let's see, and here are a couple of instruction books about home DIY and stuff like that. And and here's one on animal taxonomy. I find that to be a very interesting read. I quite often defer to it since, I actually find nature to be quite fascinating. That's my favorite. I'll give you that one for nothing. So, like, at the end of it, like, in Cartoon Faction, you got...
the book.
It's just a
Yeah.
massive stack of books.
Yeah, boxes of books. It's just like, that'll keep you busy. I hope you don't get motion sick reading in the car.
Oh yeah. I think Teddy will be fine. You know, he's made out of metal and everything.
Oh, well, then he won't throw stuff up then. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So I'll just go carry this to the car real quickly, and I'll be back shortly. And
All right. So,
Seamus carries it to the car. He's kind of struggling under the weight, and then he plops it down. Just like at the back door, like, "Hey Teddy, I bought you a bunch of books that'll help you find the bread of the ancients. I don't know if what specific genres they're in, or what authors, or what just socio-political undertones they may contain, but you can go for it." And then Seamus kind of just waddles back into the pawn shop and is like, "Okay, so how much for all the books?"
oh, well, you made Pappy so happy. I almost feel like it. Oh, I'll just take them.
Oh, don't be that way. Yeah. It's always good business practices to make sure you always get paid for your goods and services.
Well, then one of the kids pops up and says, "We want an elephant! We want an elephant!" It's like, kids, that's not of a monetary value. It's like, we want an elephant!
It's an investment.
Seamus tries to pull out let's see, several small pink. Okay, a cage full of 6 small pink elephants.
Okay, all right. Okay. Oh my God, you do it. The dice have been kind to you today.
Yes. Here, kids. Here's some pink elephants. You can ride them. I don't know what they eat. I think this one's named Cheryl. This one's named Sandy. This one's named Alfonso. This one's named George. And this one's named Mr. T.
Okay, take an inspiration point, because that's just insane.
And I don't know what the last one is named. I guess you can name that one.
Oh,
I don't know. Do you elephants talk?
I'm gonna call him Seamus.
Oh, okay, that's very flattering. I guess imitation is the highest form of flattery. It's a little bit weird.
I don't know what any of that means, but I'm calling him Seamus.
I'm just gonna go ahead and mosey on out of here. Okay, that's you, kid.
And the mother's just like, oh, she was just like, oh, I've gotten rid of all those books, and now I've got elephants. She just can't get the upper hand.
But she also has a cage to store her children in. Perfect.
No.
When you're all out of straitjackets.
No. Which brings
us the laundry, boys.
So y'all fit all the boxes, because it's Toon logic. The boxes all fit in the high tider, and y'all get in, and y'all are driving, and the sun is y'all drive off into the sunset, off to whatever lies next on the search. And that brings us to our final and closing sponsor, which is Footbrellas, the umbrellas for your feet. So that you don't get, your shoes or your feet wet. It can be a real problem. And so someone had the good foresight to think of a way to remedy this, quite frankly, epidemic. How have we not gotten along before? I don't know. It's changed my life. So I think for this, okay. I think that I'm actually going to do this one with Red and or Brandon and Bruce. Let us try to do a little segment for the sponsorship of Footbrellas. So in this instance, the animator is drawing themselves into the cartoon with their creations. And wow, so this is what it's like to be in 2D. But even in 2D, one has to worry about water and their shoes. What can you do? Tell me, Red, what can we do to rectify the problem of water and our shoes? Or feet, if you don't wear shoes.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you a little something about footbrellas. Now, let's say you've got those expensive Oxfords that you don't want to get wet on a rainy day. No, that'd be such a shame, especially if you just got them shined. No, you put footbrellas on. It's going to keep them nice and clean from the falling rain. Can't say too much about the puddles, but you know what? You should be stepping around the puddles if it's raining outside. What do you think, Mr. Hyde?
It was Seamus.
Oh, Seamus, I'm sorry. What do you think, Seamus?
Oh, thanks for the send off. Thanks for the transition, Red. So right now I'm at my mother's home down below in the ocean. Everything's wet. I put on these footbrellas, and then suddenly my feet feel drier than the Sahara. I don't know how it happened, but they look very dehydrated right now, and I can't. They're going kind of numb. I don't think this. Mom.
Footbrellas are good for any ecosystem that you find yourself in. Even if it is ridiculous, know confidently that you are in keeping with the fashion. And as Red knows, the aesthetics, it's everything.
That's right. And remember, you can keep the savings raining down on you if you call now, and we'll double the offer.
We will. And for you, 8-legged individuals, you just pay more shipping, obviously. Call 1-888-567-4242. Good night.
Walk on water. You're not responsible for any Messiah complex.
Right. So that was our 5th episode of Toon. I just can't believe I paused so much. You know, when y'all got to the town, I was like, are y'all going to ask him about Marty? Y'all are
We're very high up in the air. We didn't know what to say.
Yeah, but it's just like y'all still had the power of speech. I did ask.
I figured based on his interaction, he wouldn't know too much other than, oh, he came and saw me at my house, tied me up, and then left.
You'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Unless we find him, track him down, shake him.
Yeah, you do. And then he's like, this isn't your home and all that, which...
Or unless he finds us and shakes us up.
That could
or
be.
he poops in a inside-outside house.
Well, then you gave him the address of the salon, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, well, good.
We can go to the salon and shake him down.
Anyway, regardless, things happened. This was... My God, there was a lot of suppositions about toilets. That is odd. That was, it's not normally like that, but it's just how it went. That I guess this was more of a Cartoon Network.
Toilet humor transcends all.
Exactly.
That I can only hope.
Yeah, you can flush for evil deeds.
Stop it! Okay. Stop it! Order in the court! Anyways, we will be back here for this insanity again next Tuesday, 7 Central Standard Time is the time. It might be a different time, or you can just catch up online if that's how you like to roll. Always join us at the Discord below, and we like hearing from you, whether it be on our Discord or on Twitter or whatever. We can be reached. We are out there. We are accessible. So do get in touch and share your thoughts. As always, we try to keep it snappy because you like it best that way. And if this made you happy, I hope it did, then we'll see you again next Tuesday. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.